one, all men are not trash. Like, I've never felt that. And I don't want anybody to think that if they've had a bad experience with men or women, whoever your choice of partner is, if you have a bad experience with that, I don't want you to think like, oh, because one person mistreated me, this is how everybody is. No. There's so many people in the world. That's not the case. What was the biggest lesson you learned about yourself while dating? Again. Ooh, y'all, this is good. Y'all gotta get something exclusive. Okay, I've not talked about this. The biggest lesson I've learned while being back in the dating pool is that I can be a contributing factor to reasons why encounters don't succeed. That's humbling to say. And I don't even think those are like the words I would have hoped to use to get this across, but that's just what has come out. But, you know, I've had encounters with certain individuals. They've been great, but they don't really last or they don't work out. And it might not be something they did. It might be something that I did or said or didn't say. And it's like, that doesn't work for everybody, you know? And to think, because I come from a situation where like, there was an obvious, like, I'm the victim. You did this, so I left. Like, being back in the dating field, I realized like, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And that was kind of, I wouldn't even say a hard pill to swallow, because I was aware of that. Although I do think I'm pretty likable, so, you know, but again, I'm just not everybody's cup of tea, and it's humbling. It's like, okay, you could be polished, you could be this great individual. Everybody's not rocking with you. It don't matter how cute you are, it don't matter how smart you are, how spiritual, you know, tapped in with God you are. It doesn't matter. You're just not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. Like, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. You're just not meant for everybody. And I thank God that I'm not for everybody, you know what I'm saying? But like, that was something I had to understand being back in the dating scene. It's like, well, he might not like you, girl. He might like you now. And then in 3 weeks, he might be like, it was cute. In 3 months, he might be like, it was cute. 9 months, even 10. And some of them, ooh, it's like how we go. Anyway, you just never know. You never know. But at some point, you have to understand, like, these people are not, they're definitely not in a legal situation with you to, like, be here for you, let alone, like, you didn't take vows, you know what I'm saying? So if you're dating, at any given point, these people could just decide that you're not my cup of tea anymore, this is not serving me, I don't think we're aligned. They can dip, and they are entitled to do that. And that was a harsh reality I had to face in the dating space of like realizing at any given moment, anybody that you may be entertaining, and if they're entertaining you, y'all may be parting ways sooner than you think, you know? And so I think that was just like the biggest thing I learned about myself. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. Being okay with that, that's a process. But understanding that it usually has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them. You may not get the closure you want, and you may not get the closure you deserve. But again, it has nothing to do with you. So if somebody decides to part ways with you in that dating process, it's like, again, maybe something's not checking out on their end. But don't judge yourself for that, or look at yourself differently and feel like, well, why did this happen to me? Why would you think you're going to be exempt? When I got cheated on, I'm looking like, well, I mean, the Band-Aid was ripped off. It was like, why? I hope you don't think you're exempt, because you're clearly not. No one is exempt from this type of behavior. So that was probably my biggest lesson. Like, you're just not for everybody. And sometimes people, they see something on the outside and they think, well, I want to pursue this. I want to explore this. But the deeper they go, they realize that's not for me. And it's not because something's wrong with you, but sometimes they just don't have the bandwidth or the capacity to actually give you what you need. Out of respect, they back up because they like, somebody gonna be able to do it. It ain't me, but somebody might be able to. So you have to understand that it's not always a negative thing. Now, sometimes you need to get your stuff together. Sometimes it is you. Sometimes it's you. I've had to work on look. I know I can have a really smart mouth. And if you know, you know. I mean, well, but sometimes I say stuff and it's like, did she just say that? Yeah, I did. I'm working on that. And I know that about me. That's not going to sit well with everybody. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't sit well with most. But it doesn't sit well with everybody. So I know that. So again, sometimes it is us. Sometimes it's not. And when it's not, let it be what it is. People are doing you a favor. I promise you. Don't harp on it. Next question. Did you feel pressure from family or friends to get back out there? I don't know why they put it in quotes. I'm gonna be honest. Family and friends were, family definitely didn't have pressure. There was no pressure. There was no get back out there. They were like, heal, take your time, do what you need to do. Friends. Woo, I love my friends. And if my sister's watching this, she gonna sing a song. I love my friends. My friends, I don't want to call them petty. I really don't know what to think. They just, maybe they know me. I don't know. I really don't know. Some of my friends were like, girl, there's this guy and he is looking for this. I think y'all would be. And I'm like, whoa, relax. Like, stop. Cause I think so here's the thing, y'all. I'm a lover girl at heart. Like and not in the sense of like, I love, like I do. But like, I'm a lover girl. I like to be wine and dine, romance. I like those things. I'm a girly girl. I like that stuff when it's from the right man. Okay. Cause if it's not, just like miss me with all that. So my friends know that. And I think some of them, they were on the journey with me of like, being married and separated and divorced and whatever. So some of them were just like, I know a great guy. She's a great girl. What if y'all, and it's like, I appreciate that. But at what point did you, address that? What point did you bring that to me? So I did have some friends where they were like, there's somebody we'd like you to meet. Now, don't get me wrong. They're not matchmakers. It was just like, he saw I reposted this of you, and then he kind of asked about you. So now I'm asking you, what do you think about him? Like, it was those type of situations. So I was able to respectfully be like, yes or no. More no than yes, sadly. But it just, let's be honest, y'all. When you first are in a situation like that, the first thing you see is physical. So like, if you're going to be like, yes or no. So in those situations, I was able to kind of be like, I'm good. Thank you for thinking of me, though, because I would like to go on a date or something. And then, of course, I could like figure out from there, will this progress? But I think most of the time when it comes to those instances, I was like, thank you for thinking of me, but I'm straight. Like, I'm good on that. Don't just tell him like, nah, she ain't, and that's fine. But no one really pressed the issue. I think everybody wanted me to heal. So like, that was the common theme of like, she needs to heal. She needs to be on this journey by herself. She needs to figure things out. But my trauma therapist, when she did say you should get out there and date, once I told her I went on a date, it was like, she needed the update. She needed the team. She needed to know what happened. It's because that date was good. It was real good. It was surprisingly good, to the point where I was like, maybe it's worth getting back out there. Now, I'll tell you this, since then, I've been on other dates, and I was like, was it worth getting back out there? But that individual, I wouldn't even say he set the tone, but it was a great experience for it to be my first experience back into the dating scene. I was just like, there's hope. And we're still cool to this day. and I'm appreciative of that. I think that was one of those aha moments of like, God is looking out for me because he doesn't want me to settle in this space of men ain't, you know what I'm saying? But he also was like, be realistic. Like you're not in a space to be taking someone super seriously, but understand when it comes to that time, these type of individuals do exist and they are out here. And so I'm grateful for that. I was super fortunate, super blessed with that. So my first experience back into the dating scene had me really like, where they at? Everybody ain't like that though. So I learned rather quickly. We're moving right along, you guys. How do you feel? Oh, wait. How do you date differently now compared to before marriage? Well, I've said this before. I'm not actively dating in this moment, but since being divorced, I have dated. And what have I done differently? How have I dated differently? I will say I try to be more intentional with conversations, like just the depths of the conversations. I try to go deep as quickly as possible because the quicker we go deep, the sooner I'm gonna know whether or not you deserve a second date. And I think in the past, I tried not to step on too many toes. Why I'm trying to spare y'all feelings, I don't know. We ain't doing that no more. We're not sparing feelings. I want your feelings to be hurt. You need to know. I mean business, okay? Because y'all don't spare our feelings. So with that, I've tried to be so intentional with like, let's have these deep conversations. Let's jump off the deep end, okay? Let's go there on the first encounter, truly. Now, of course, it would be ideal to just get these things figured out over the phone. That's not always the case. That has not always been the case in my situations. So with this newfound dating experience, that first link up, now we'll be natural with it. We're going to be intentional, but also organic. Like we're not going to just be, it's not interview style. I don't like that. I think that's a little weird, but I'm going to be sure to push the conversation in a direction where it's like, let's go deep. Let's go there. Okay. The topics that might make you a little uncomfortable. Oh, need those. Those are the ones. But like, let's be a little uncomfortable. That's fine. And it doesn't mean that like we can't be cool. I ain't gonna judge you at all. Again, remember I said, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So why would I think everybody's my cup of tea? That's crazy. There's someone for everyone, which means everybody's not gonna be for you. So with that said, I think it's important now to like be intentional with jumping into those deep conversations, the ones that are the non-negotiables where you're like, this can make or break whatever is going on here. I jumped straight in on that first date. And I've had a couple encounters where it's like, I learned some things on that first date. And while you cute, some of y'all fine. I mean, real fine. I'll be like, oh, I'm nervous. That's how fine, you know what I'm saying? But then when we had those conversations, I'm like, dang, forget that you fine. We not gonna work. I hate that for us. Really, I hate it for you. Hate it for me a little bit, but like really hate it for you. But it's like some of this stuff is not going to work. It's just not going to cut it. Again, non-negotiables. But I figure out so quickly because I'm intentional about bringing up those topics that mean so much to me. Where it's like, if we get this out the way in the first encounter, we're not wasting anybody's time. We're not going any further. We can be cordial. We can be cool. If I see you around, cool. I hang out with you if that's the case. But understand, we're not dating. Like, I'm not considering you as a partner for the future. So while I really don't like that, it's the reality of dating after divorce. It's like, it almost feels like I have tapped into, some would say, your third eye. I did the three. That's crazy. That third eye. But like, you feel more. And if you've experienced a divorce or like a significant breakup, because it might not be from marriage, you know what I'm saying? But you know, like after that big relationship and then you start dating again, you feel like extra tapped in, especially when you've done that work, that healing work. You're like, I'm noticing things quicker. They're louder. The clarity is there. And so I appreciate that. But with that, it just makes it like dating it can be fun, but sometimes it's like it's not as fun because just as soon as you think you're having fun, that's just as quick as you realize, on to the next. That becomes tiring. It's exhausting. But you save yourself the trouble. You save them the trouble. It's like, we're not wasting time. We get straight to it. We know what we deserve, and we know what we're going to tolerate and what we're not going to tolerate. And I can appreciate that. So, dating after divorce, it's been a journey, as, most things are, but it's been one of those things where I'm spending a lot of time with myself and having those conversations with myself where I have to think about, okay, what is it that I want? What is it that I'm willing to tolerate? What do I deserve? What am I open-minded about? And what am I willing to explore if said individual is willing to compromise? Like, it's all these different things, but I do feel like I'm in a better space mentally. Like, I'm way more wise than I was before. And so dating on this side of things, it's truly an adventure, to say the least. It is an adventure. Kind of a scary one sometimes, but I will say I'm more assertive now. Way more assertive. Matter of fact, I have something I'm going to lean over because I have something here. I read this, I think, in a previous episode, my journal from when I was divorced or going through separation. And there's an excerpt in here, let's see, where I was like deep in my separation. And I know I spoke about like, hold on, y'all, because it's a long entry, but I read it recently and I was like, dang, let's see. Ooh. I'm going to just read it. I'm going to read one of these entries because there's a few, but something I just said made me think, I'm like, wait, this would be a great ending in a sense, because it just showed me how far I had come and it showed me the growth. Even in the midst of separation, there were times where I felt like I wasn't really growing. I'm like, am I? Like, how can I measure this? Because it didn't feel measurable. But reading these entries, I realized when I was writing, I'm like, you're further along than you think. You actually are progressing. It's just slow progress. And it's one of those things where, like, when you look at the time that has been passing, you're like, oh shoot, girl, like, you've actually progressed. But in the moment, you're like, am I growing? Am I evolving? All those questions. So let me see, y'all. Give me a second. Okay. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. So this one, I would say I had to be like 9 months into my separation. I'm going to read this. I might have to alter it because I don't know. I haven't, this entry specifically, I've not previously like looked at it. So I ain't no telling what was said. But I'll start. It says, it's been a long time, because I don't like the journal, as I have told y'all, but I was trying to be consistent. But I said, it's been a long time. So much has happened. I'm for certain that I'm getting a divorce. It's been such a weight lifted since coming to terms with that. At one point in this journey, I actually thought I'd be able to work it out, but I realized I'm not attracted to him anymore, and I'm in no position to force anything, nor do I want to sit around and wait to see if that attraction comes back. Blank date, because I put a date there. I'll be able to file for divorce. I still need to find an attorney, so I'll be working on that. Fun fact, y'all, I actually didn't use an attorney for mine because it was such a seamless process that I realized I could just do it on my own. I did consult with one, but I didn't actually hire one. So that's a fun fact for you. We're going to skip all this because I'm going into the depths of the things that I don't need to go into. In this part, I said, life is getting better. I've transitioned into a new workspace and I love it. Let's see. This all came into play. I'm listing too many things that will incriminate me. I'm listing dates and names and everything. But I did say I met some dope people overall, which is a great thing. On that journey, I felt super alone and really isolated. So like, even I mentioned in a previous episode, it was my job, a dream job at that moment in my life. And so when I got back into the workspace, because I was not working for a while, that was a concern of mine. It was like, did I just like work this hard to get to a space, lose all these things just to put myself back into an environment that would kind of set me back? But that wasn't the case. I actually met some amazing individuals, which I appreciate. Then this part is sweet. Most recently, cousin Juliet passed. The service and burial was in New Jersey. So I spent time in New Jersey and New York with family. I got to see my sister. Although I did spend Christmas week with her in New York, I got to see her again. And it was so needed. I feel super blessed overall. Some days are scarier than others, but I'm genuinely just trying my best. I'm being more assertive when needed, and I'm more intentional with my time and the energy that I allow in my space. I know God's got me, and I see glimpses daily. So even when I feel like I don't feel him close, I know he's near and he's still moving through me. I have EMDR today. And a game. I was working in athletics at the time for university. So I appreciate the simple things that I get to look forward to. That was a sweet ending to an entry. Ew. I don't want to get... That's crazy. Y'all. Okay, I'm not going to cry because my makeup is way too good right now. But that kind of makes me emotional. Because something I told my mom, I talked to her a lot during my separation. I told her I felt like that was the furthest I was from God. And to read this entry and to see how I'm almost like affirming myself. Like, look, I know God's got me. I see the glimpses daily. It's like, I didn't believe that. I'm looking at this entry. I see the date when I wrote this. I didn't actually believe that. I was just writing that in faith because I wanted to believe it so bad, but I did not feel that way. And I remember telling my mom, like, I feel like God is so far from me. I don't feel like I've always been a spiritual girl. I was raised in a Christian home. That's what I believe in. I didn't feel it then. And she told me, she's like, you're in one of the lowest points in your life. He's closer than you think. He's actually probably the closest he's ever been to you right now. And seeing that I was writing this in faith of like, I want to believe this so bad. I don't really believe it, but I'm going to put it here. To read that makes me emotional because now in this space, being this far along, I'm back. I'm like, me and God, we tapped in. That's my guy. That's my twin. Where have you been? Like, I feel like we are really tapped in. But in this moment here, y'all, I'm reading this and I almost cried. But I'm telling you, my makeup's so good. I can't do it. I did it in that episode. I think it was my last episode, season 1. Y'all don't get too many tears out of me. But to read this back and to know this was over a year ago. Over a year ago, I'm reading this. I'm like, I believed it so bad. And I'm back. I feel it now. Now I know. I'm like, no, I know he got me. The stuff he has shown me, the things I've experienced, I'm like, God has been with me all along. Seriously. Oh my gosh. And I look, there is one more entry. I paused because I'm like, ooh, there's one more entry in this, but I don't even think I need to read that. I'm going to leave it at the one I gave y'all because I didn't expect to give y'all that one. Let me just tell y'all this. Dating after divorce, overall, if I had to describe it in one word, I'm not even going to be elaborate. I'm not going to be fancy. But I'll say it's been enlightening. Obviously, when you're dating, you're dealing with another individual and other individuals as a whole. But it has shown me so much about myself. Things that I thought I had already learned. It has either shown me new things or it has magnified the things I've already known. Because coming out of a divorce, I have matured in ways that I just couldn't have imagined in a short amount of time. And also just gained a lot of wisdom that, quite frankly, was going to come over time, but I think it comes through experience. So age, you really can't say age is a factor. It's the experiences you have. And so it's just been enlightening. Like, I've learned about myself. I've seen the parts of myself at this point that I don't even like sometimes. I like more of them now, but they're, through this journey, I've seen things in myself. I'm like, well, no wonder this fool didn't like me. Because why would he like me? I've seen it, and I'm just like, ooh, that's why we in therapy, girl, because we need to make sure we work on that. But I've seen all that, and it has helped me really gain compassion for other people. Even if I don't understand where they are, where they're coming from, I have compassion for them because they're not always going to understand me or where I'm coming from. And I cannot expect that from them. That's just unrealistic. So dating after divorce, I think it's been more fun than I thought it would be, simply because I really do take things with a grain of salt. I'm just kind of like, well, this is an experience. I am in the moment. I'm not going into anything with the expectation that it's going to last longer than this very moment right here. So it's been fun. I've been able to just kind of enjoy what it is and be present. Again, I've met some amazing individuals. Networking is real. Now, don't go into these dates talking about I'm about to network. If it's a date, it's a date. I used to be the one like, we're hanging out. Girl, please. It's a date. Okay? Go into it and let it be what it is. But understand, it may just be the one and only date you have with that person. You might get 2 or 3 out of them. And that's okay. That's fine. I've come to terms with that. So like now, I really go in, my only expectation is to have a mutual respect. And even that, sometimes you ain't even gonna get that, I'll be honest. But go in with very minimal expectations. Like, you should receive respect because we deserve that as human beings. But at the end of the day, take what it is that you receive in that moment. And that's it. Don't think further. Don't have these future expectations. Just like go into it and say, if this is what I get, I'm content with that. And I promise you, you will at least leave and be like, that was an experience, whether good or bad. So let's see. If I had to give advice to someone who's in this situation, like starting back, dating after divorce, getting back into that space, I would say go into it with an open mind. What I have realized, which is insane to say, I've realized that certain things that I thought were deal breakers for me or non-negotiables for me prior to getting married versus dating after divorce, they are different. I mean, shout out to the men who get to be with me now, because I'm telling you, it's different. It's a different vibe because I've seen a lot. I've learned a lot. I've experienced traumas that I really don't wish on anyone. But it just, again, that compassion, it opens you up to a space to understand that, like, you might find yourself connecting or being attracted to someone who, prior to whatever trauma you experienced, you'd be like, I would never. But now it's like, well, let me pick their brain and see how they got there. Like now, not that it's not always going to be unhealthy for you to experience that. You just have to ask the right questions, peel back those layers, be open to do that. And then you never know, that could be the best thing that ever happened to you. Again, I'll tell you, I've met some amazing guys. We ain't work out, we dated a little bit. And it's like, okay, hey, that didn't work out, but they're still great. Like, they're not bad people. Truly wish them the best. But it's like, now I've realized there's some things that, and probably certain men, I'm open to dating and getting to know. Whereas before getting married, I would have just been like, no, I'm shutting that down. So my advice is to be open. Just be open. Don't go against your values and your morals. Like, don't do that. If you have those type of things set in place, like, adhere to those. Keep them in place. They're in place for a reason. And I'm sure they have been for a while. But again, just have that open mind. Ask the right questions, and be open to see what their answers are. Again, we're in a era of like, we listen and we don't judge, right? So it might not be something that you agree with, But ask those questions and get to like see why they feel like that. Why do they think about these things? Why is this how they are? And you never know. That could be something that you're like, you know what? I've never thought about that. I don't disagree with it. You know what I mean? So like, just be open. Keep an open mind. See what's out there. You never know what could happen. So that's all I got to say about dating after divorce. I'm sure I could give y'all more, but I can't let y'all in my business too much because that would be weird. But if you're in that space, stay open. Perceive what the Lord has for you. Okay? Because he has something for you. And if you are in a space of like going through a breakup or something like that, keep hope alive. You might be in a space right now where it's like, I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't even see where I could date again or get back in a relationship or whatever. If you desire that, it's possible for you. And I'm saying that as a fully single woman, not dating anybody. But I believe in that. And I know it's out there. So I know it's out there for you. Keep hope alive. Take one day at a time, one step at a time. In a previous episode, I talked about the sources and tools I used to help me heal from a traumatic breakup. Trust me. If you want to date, you could date, okay? So, as always, like, share, subscribe. Please continue tuning in every Monday. We out here on YouTube. Tune in. We got some good stuff. Imagine if I've already jumped into dating after divorce, what do you think I'm finna be talking about in these upcoming episodes? You gotta tune in to see. Like, share, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your night, whenever you're watching this. I look forward to see you next time.